John Lennon, there is no doubt in your mind about the fate of Paul McCartney.
No, it's a joke, isn't it? I mean, Paul isn't dead, and if he was, we would have told you, We'd be the first to know.
So that's it.
He's a baby. He's recording music for Ringo's film and producing Mary Hopkins, so he's very much alive.
Well, how did the rumors affect both of you at this point?
It's a joke to us. It's just a joke.
It's so hard to believe that something like this would be going on, similar to like a James Dean thing.
I can't understand it, because I can understand the James Dean kind of, he still lived crippled but won't come out, I mean, there's some kind of idea you could guess, well, maybe.
Yeah.
But Paul McCartney couldn't die without the world knowing it.
Mm-hmm.
The same as he couldn't get married without the world knowing it. It's impossible. He can't go on holiday without the world knowing it. How could he die without everybody knowing it?
Paul McCartney is in England now. Is he at home, or is he on a holiday, or what, John?
He's not on holiday. He's working. He's recording a group called the Ivies, but doing some background music for Ringo's film, The Magic Christian. Mm-hmm. And I want to be plugging my own stuff, not Paul. So come on, let's get going.
John, let's go back to talking about the music of the early days, and if you'll permit me to go and address ourselves back to this Paul McCartney rumor and death, if you will. As a matter of fact, let's talk all about this symbolism that's going down in these albums, and address ourselves also to the possibility of death and what you recognize in these albums.
Well, I tell you, I'm not aware of any of them, you see. I only read about them this morning in the paper, and I can't remember them. Something about Sgt. Pepper album cover and Abbey Road album cover. Yep. I don't see the connection or how Paul could have been dead. We made Sgt. Pepper 4 years ago,
John, I understand the cover for Cold Turkey is, we might consider that to be symbolic if we get into it.
This is the cover for Cold Turkey, right? And this is the advert we're using. Now, it's two skulls, which is, what are they called? X-rays that were taken of us in hospital after we had a car crash. Now, by the time this gets to America and the Deep South, and the DJ gets it, he'll say, here it is, finally, it's Paul McCartney's skull. But it's me and Yoko, actually, and I'm using it to advertise our latest record as the sleeve cover. But when you read that into it, by the time it's got to New Orleans and the DJ's looking for something to talk about, he'll say that this is a sign of death and that Paul is gone, or John and Yoko are dead, But
what about the line on the Sgt. Pepper, I Will Bury You?
On Sgt. Pepper, the same as the obscenity that was meant to be on a loop at the end of Sgt. Pepper didn't exist.
John, I find it hard to believe that some people are supporting this rumor that's going around here, that if you play some of your records backwards, there are some messages to it, and people can hear these. What do you have to say about the backward movement of these records?
Sure, if you play anything backwards, you're going to get a different connotation, because it's backwards. I have no idea what Beatle records sound like backwards. I never play them backwards.
In other words, you're saying there really is no death wish or any death moment in all these Beatle records?
The connection besides somebody thinks Paul's dead.
Could some of these things have been like a death rumor to Paul's death back there in 1966?
Well, how did we take the photograph for Abbey Road, with me with a beard and looking as I do today, and Paul looking as he does today, walking across the road, when he'd been dead since Pepper? What did we do? Stuff him and shave him? Or what? How could we do it? I don't understand what it's about at all, Paul isn't dead. We don't often sing or refer to death, I don't think so. And I don't...
What about the Abbey Road thing, John, where the bare feet of Paul McCartney sort of would indicate death to some?
That's the first time I've ever heard of it, so what? Paul walked barefoot across the road because Paul's idea of being different is to look almost straight, but just have his ear painted blue, something a little subtle. He liked to go, when we did press conferences, we all were a bit like that. We used to go on stage with just, say, one polythene bag on one foot, and nobody might notice it, just us would be laughing. So for Paul, he decided to be barefoot that day, walking across the road. But when he first glanced at the album, it looked like the four Beatles or whoever walking across fully dressed. But that's his little gimmick, that's all. Yeah, I didn't even notice till I got the album. I didn't notice on the day he was barefoot. We were just wishing the photographer would hurry up, and it's getting too many people are hanging around. It's going to spoil the shot, and let's get out of here. We're meant to be recording, not posing for Beatle pictures, That's all we were thinking. And I was muttering, come on, hurry up now, keep in step. And all that, And
cremation.
And they said I was wearing a white religious suit, you know. But, I mean, did Humphrey Bogart wear a white religious suit? All I've got is a nice Humphrey Bogart suit, you know. What's religious about it? They said George is dressed as an undertaker, and rubbish. And Ringo was something. You know, it's just insanity, but great plug for Abbey Road.
It's just coincidence that you dress the way we do on your album covers.
What motivates you to wear what you wore today? Now, as your station controller said, we need a publicity handout of all the DJs on the program, on the radio. You decide that morning what to wear for the photograph. I decided to wear a white suit, and we all decided individually what to wear for that day for the photograph. So,
in essence, John, what you're saying about the Beatle greatness, and it is great.
Thank you.
In essence, because of this greatness, John, that the Beatles themselves have become the essence of this great rumour.
Yeah, it's just all that mysticism, like James Dean is still alive in a chair somewhere, and that Bob Dylan had died. I mean, but you can understand the Dylan rumour a bit more, because he had that big crash and nobody knew where he was, you know. It's all that intellectualised, you know, looking for hidden meanings. You know, it's just gone crazy, that's all.
John, has this really affected you mentally, physically? The same with Yoko Ono. How has this affected you?
It's water off a duck's back, you know. It's just the most stupid rumour I've ever heard. It sounds like the same kind of guy that blew up my Christ remark, where the remark had been out for 6 months in England before anybody had said anything about it, and this guy blew it up.
John Lennon and Yoko Ono from London.